Okay, so what I wanted to talk through today was how I go through research and development of new moves. So often when you are interested in Jiu-Jitsu, you go on YouTube or you look on Instagram and you see a lot of new moves coming up that are look really cool and you think they might fit into your game really well. And so you go down to the gym and you try it out with someone, and it seems to work, and then you get to training where you're rolling live and it fails. That describes most moves I think that we come across. Simply because you're not experienced with it, it's not a part of your game as yet, and you're still learning. And when you have an experience like that, it can often really dissuade you from pursuing that line of inquiry. And so what I do is I like to put myself in live drill situations where I'm telling my partner how much to resist so I can get the most out of my learning. So over here you'll see me playing two types of guards that I think are fairly unique. So I call this, you might have seen it in previous videos, it's called a spiral mantis. So I've got my bottom hand coming around like a reverse De La Riva and holding on to his Achilles there, my legs across the front, and my top hand coming around and grabbing my own shin. And so we'll see Dan here putting pressure on it, just so where I can see where it fails and so I can improve in a way that is beneficial for me. So here we go. Okay, so immediately there you can see I start learning real quick by failure. Dan comes down to his knee there. He grabs a crossface with this hand here, and the crossface is an ever-present threat from your half guards. I fail to address it because I'm still thinking about this grip here, and he flattens me out. So here, he's tried to get an underhook here, and this time he will try to come in for that crossface once again to see if he can get it, but I will recognize that he's coming down low, and I will recognize that holding on to this is actually it's not good for me. So as he cross faces me, I'm going to take that leg there and switch it to kind of a butterfly hook and sweep him to his left, our right. Just going back a little bit at this point here, you can see that I'm sweeping him kind of off to his side, but the more I would have swept him down towards us here, I think the more effective this sweep would have been, because initially as he was coming in, he didn't have any posts on this side. He's kind of got an elbow here, but it isn't really as good as a hand to the floor. So yes, I finished the sweep, but something to improve upon.
Can you do it, but don't underhook to this one. Don't worry about it. Oh, sorry, don't cross it. You go.
So you hear me asking him there not to crossface, even though I found a solution for it, and in later sessions I have developed a way to stop that crossface and to counter it. Over here I'm finding it a bit difficult to deal with, so I don't want to immediately kill all my success that I'm having here, so I say, for now, don't crossface. So this time Dan tries a back step, smart idea to kind of try and get rid of all my grips there. But I come up on this single leg here because he's left this leg behind. He's tried to backstep to kind of a 411 or inside senkaku if you want to call it that. And I've got a nice single here gear, and he's given back exposure as well, which is one of the dangers of going to that 411 from top. He recognizes that, as you saw, and I couldn't quite finish the single because he never sort of turned fully around, and I never got a real good grip on his leg. So he comes back to face me here, and I go back to this guard that I'm working, the Spiral Mantis. Okay, so because he's standing so upright here and his knee, even in the start, was starting to face in this direction, I decide that I can still get that back exposure and that single leg if I just turn him to face that way. So I start putting pressure on his knee with my topside leg here. I think my idea originally was to sort of step higher, lift my hips, and take this leg behind for a 411 on my own, but I think he's kind of aware of it, so he just starts to turn away, and you'll see me come to a single leg now. And that is finished the same way I showed in another video, where you get that nice shin trap on the single leg. Okay, so this time he doesn't want to be pushed over that way, with that pressure on the knee. So he turns to come inside, and that way I figure out a new way to go. So because he's so close to me and he stepped his left leg closer to me, I can underhook it there and go underneath him. And there you just see me get the finish in outside Ashi. We just paused there. Okay, one thing that's important to note here is, even though you'll see me get a sweep in a second, and I do it by going underneath, is that I'm not very active with my guard here, and that's something I can improve on, because I'm sort of letting him be the person to initiate and countering off his mistakes. And really, if I want to play a good guard, I have to create off balances myself. I am gripping here, trying to grip fight and holding this. Now it's a reverse De La Riva because I don't have this hand grabbing my shin. But I really need to create more off balances here, so that's something to think about next time I play this position. So he steps close, I capitalize on his mistake, underhook here, I can sweep him this way. He can either get swept here or get put into a leg lock. Okay, so this next sequence is pretty interesting, because he understands that if he turns his knee one way, I can go to the single leg. If he steps his leg close, I can underhook and go to an Ashi. So what he does now is he gets this leg nice and low, like he's going for a knee slice in that direction. And what I recognize pretty immediately is that if I continue to play this position or insist on this guard, the Spiral Mantis, it won't be effective. So here, so I'm in a reverse De La Riva here, but I'm fairly compressed up, so I can't do a lot with everything. So my real problem here is him knee slicing. I'm still framing him here. Not great frames, but they're okay. So what I recognize here, which is important when you're playing guard, is that Jiu-Jitsu, as you get on and on in Jiu-Jitsu and learn more, you learn that the bottom is not you just playing your favorite guard. That's important, and you definitely have your favorite guards, but what's more important is to recognize that when you're on the bottom, you're transitioning between guards to get what you want. So I recognize here that I can't really get back to my Spiral Mantis or reverse De La Riva, and so I play another guard position called Dragonfly, which is a really low on your side shin to shin. So I'll take this top side leg and the ankle and slot it just in front of his ankle here. Yeah, so this is called a Dragonfly. So there, that position here. What I'm looking to do from here is to stretch this leg out. All I have to do for that is extend my leg out, and I can come up on a single often. So like that. And you'll see from here, I'll move to that shin trap single leg again to finish this and get some back exposure as well. Start in Spiral Mantis again. You'll see him use the same strategy, try to knee slice low, but this time I think what happens is I don't put in my my Dragonfly hook, and I just try to come up on a single, and even though it works, we'll see some mistakes in it. So right here, I'm starting to think about coming up on a single on that right leg of his, and if he cross faces right here, I'm done. Like I get flattened from here. But he doesn't cross face, or he cross faces too late. Once I have a grip on here with this shin trap kind of single leg, shin grab single leg if you want to call it that. This crossface isn't very strong because he can't turn really and face me to sprawl. And so I will finish this, but I don't think it was optimal. Okay, and so there it was just a case of him stepping close again, and I was able to underhook and start to think about sweeping, but we get to the end of our round as well. Anyway, I hope that was of some use to you. This is how I like to sort of think about new positions. I start in those positions, get someone who I know and trust to give me progressive resistance, and then as we proceed weeks and weeks of training, I'll add more and more resistance till I can refine that position. So over here you saw me playing Dragonfly and Spiral Mantis. So have a go at those positions yourself and tell me what you think. Alright, thanks.